Hello guys, are you able to hear my voice now? Hello guys. So in my last live session, my audio was too low, so I have some issue with my device. So if you can able to hear me, just let me know in the comments so I can able to uh, start the session. Hello, 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 hello. Yeah, I can hear my own voice with my testing. So I think I can start it now. Okay. So my name is Vignesh, and I am a senior network and server administrator in one of my financial solution provider company. And currently, I'm holding the certification 104, AZ 104, AZ 900, and Microsoft certified trainer. So, so this is my LinkedIn profile. So you can check me out in LinkedIn if you want. And so uh, I'm today I'm going to talk about the session or the topic Azure backup and site recovery with live demonstration with my account, Azure account. So in this demonstration, what we are going to see. So I'm going to tell you how we can create a backup of virtual machine through Azure backup, and I'll tell you how to take a backup of our on-premises machine through Azure backup, and I'll do a live demonstration on how we can able to enable Azure Site Recovery for the virtual machine, and I'll tell you how we can able to configure Azure Site Recovery for our on-premises servers. So Azure Site Recovery, I'll tell you that. later on. So before that, what is Azure backup and what is Azure site recovery? So before that, I just want to tell you, uh, so this Azure site recovery and backup will be coming under disaster recovery and high availability. So what is disaster recovery and high availability? Most of the people know about disaster recovery and high availability. So let me tell you what is it in brief to the persons who don't know about high availability and disaster recovery. So disaster recovery is like, you you just wanted to keep your data safe during any hazardous situation, or if your server goes off, or if your server is not accessible. So disaster recovery is simply like is a backup that we are taking from our servers and keep it in a different location. So later on, if the server goes off, if the server is not able to respond, or if the server is getting hacked by any hackers, or server getting affected by any malwares, we can restore the data from the backup that we have took from the servers and keep it in a different location. Uh, so I'm sure most of the people will store the backup from the original servers we have took, but some of them will keep their backup in their same server. So that is really a big trouble in future for you guys, because if the server goes crashed, or if the server is not responding, if the server affected by the malware, you can retrieve the backup that you have took and stored inside the same server. So better we can just move all the data from our servers to the different machines or different data storages, so to keep our data safe. So here for disaster recovery, Azure provides a good option in their portal itself. So we can take the backup of an entire virtual machine, we can store it into the storage account, or it will be store as a snapshot, and then we can restore from the backup, or we can just take a file recovery from the backup. So they are providing two options to that. uh, Recover the data uh, from the backup by using Azure backup. So I'll show you how we can able to create a backup and how we can able to restore the backup uh, while I'm going the live demonstration of that. So what are all the features which Azure actually provides for disaster recovery? I mean, Azure backup. So they provide a good feature that we can use our on-premises servers to back up the data from our on-premises to their cloud network. So that is a good option that Azure provides, and we can back up the entire virtual machine. We can back up web apps, and we can back up much more, using the Azure backup and scale easily. What is scale easily? There is no restriction to use the data space in Azure network. So we can use n number of datas, but they are chargeable definitely as per the need. So for example, some may need daily backup, some may need weekly backup, some may need a monthly backup. So it depends on the needs. You can use their own backup schedule or own backup retention in the Azure cloud. So it is purely depends on your need, depends on the company need, depends on the administrator need. So that is a skill. You can increase your uh, space in the cloud and get unlimited data transfer. What is that? For Azure backup, they are not charging for inbound and outbound network, bandwidth. Usually, Azure charges for inbound and outbound network for virtual machines, web apps, and traffic managers (ILB), but they are not charging for backups. So that is option, because uh, we in on-premises network we may have a huge data like 1,000 or even 100 GB of data that needs to be transferred to the cloud. So they are absolutely free, but the cloud storage will be chargeable. Then keep data secure. Compare to our network and compare to our own, infrastructure security. Azure network is much more secure, and even I'm not going to say it is 99, 100% secure, but it will be around 99.95% of security they are offering to us, because Azure network is powerful network compared to our network, right? So that is a good thing. Next, uh, what's retain short and long-term data? So in previously I have told you that about weekly, monthly, daily backups, right? So it depends on your requirement. You can increase the retention policy of the backups. You can keep your data for almost 10 years. You can keep your data for 1 day. You can keep your data for uh, 1 week. It depends on the future. Azure provides that feasibility to retain the backup and multiple storage options. What is multiple storage options? For example, if we take a storage account, there will be three different categories that we can, while we creating the storage account. One is LRS, ZRS, GRS. LRS means, sorry, yeah. So local redundant storage, that will be accessible only for that particular VNet, or yeah, particular VNet. And zone redundant storage, that will be accessible between the Azure zones. And geo redundant storage, that is accessible between multiple regions or multiple locations. We have to create a key for that. We have to create uh, uh, to access, we have to create authentication to access the storage account to get the data. Okay. And so as I told that Azure offers two different, Azure offers backup for both on premises and their own network. If you have any servers in Alibaba, or if you have any servers in AWS, you can even transfer the backup to Azure network, Azure servers. So that is a good option because they are providing an agent for on-premises network, to connect with their connect from our local environment, local machine or local server, on-premises server, to their storage account using the agent with uh, from key vault file. So I'll show you the demonstration of that. uh, so once that is done, we can just enable the backup in the local on-premises network. It will simply take the backup every time as per the schedule we have chosen, and it will be transferred to the Azure backup recovery services vault. Okay. So first of all, before configuring the Azure backup, we have to create a recovery services vault. While you initiate Azure backup, it will automatically ask for recovery services vault. If it is not available, uh, as while we creating a virtual machine, it will ask for some resource group. If it is not there, we can create that. Likewise, it will also create. It will also ask us to create if it is not available. Okay. So this is just a flow that Azure actually works in backend. So let's move on to the demonstration, how we can take a backup. So for in my account, I have already created a machine. So I'm going to use that to take a backup. How to configure a backup? So okay, I think you can see my screen now. So this is the portal login view. Okay. So I'm gonna choose this machine. Okay. So I'm gonna use this machine, and I'm going to scroll down and click backup. So seems I have some network issues. See, here I have already created a backup schedule here. So I'll try with a different machine. Actually, I was trying to upload a demonstration the day before yesterday itself due to the weather and the cyclone in southern India. I got stuck here. I can't able to send the upload the video. I mean, I cannot able to come online. So yeah. So just select the virtual machine, scroll down till you can see the backup, click over there, and see here I have already created a recovery services vault. So I'm going to use that. If you want to create a new, or if it is not available in your portal, you can create a new recovery services vault, because I mean that is mandatory to create a backup. So I'm going to use the existing one. And the policy, you can choose the policy. The policy means the how many days you want to take a backup, how many days you want to keep the backup in the Azure Azure cloud. So I'll show you how to create a policy. So you can choose any name. I'm gonna choose demo one for now. And the frequency, if you wanna take a daily backup, you can select over here. And the time of taking backup, and the time zone. So currently we are in IST, and some people may use their own time zone if they want, so they can select that. And retain instance recovery snapshot is like uh, so the snapshot will be keep ready, so we can restore the virtual machine immediately. So that is the we can retain 2 days snapshot for that. And you can choose increase or decrease. It purely depends upon you and your it purely depends upon you, but the cost will be chargeable as per the storage that we are using. So how many days you want to keep this backup? So I'm not going to use more than 30 days. So I'm going to choose 30. Okay. So it will retain 30 backups. Okay. So it will retain 30 backups daily one. So up to 30 backups it will retain. For example, if I started now, so next month 25th, 2 days back will be deleted. So this is a weekly backup and monthly backup, yearly backup. So it depends on your need and in which storage account you wanna store these backups. I'm gonna keep as it is, so I'll use that. I'll delete it. I'll choose 7, and I don't want this. Okay, I'll take 1 day because it costs more, right? So that is why I have decreased everything. Click OK. So my policy name has been created. This is the policy details, and if I click enable backup, the recovery services vault will be created, and the backup will be enabled for this particular virtual machine that I have created chose to take a backup. Okay, so I have pinged in the group. If you can able to hear me, just respond please, because in last live I cannot able to respond to you guys. Okay, I'm not getting resp. Okay, fine. Thank you. Thanks for confirming. So back to the video, that currently my Deployment is in progress. Yeah, my deployment is completed. So when I click over the virtual machine, okay, let me share you that screen. Let me click over the virtual machine which I have recently created the backup policy, and same you have to I don't know guys why I'm getting network issue. When you click the backup, now we can able to see the things. Earlier it shows that we have to create the policy, right? Now it is created, so you will get the screen. So if you don't want a backup, you can click stop and you can stop the services, and backup pre-check is passed, but last backup status is pending. I have set the time to 11:30 p.m. UTC. What is the current time UTC? UTC is 3 p.m. Okay, so I have to wait for more hours to take a backup. So if you don't have time, you just click, simply click backup and it will take a backup. Okay, so it will create a backup, and I'll show you the another machine. If you click backup, I have set 1 day. That is why it shows 26. Sorry, till when you have to retain the backup. So I'm gonna choose 1 day because I don't want this after that. So it is going to trigger the backup manually, and this last backup status will be changed to pass once the backup is completed. It will take some time to take a backup of the entire virtual machine. So once that is done, so you will get a screen like you will get a screen like this. Uh, you'll get a screen like this, and this one I have created yesterday. Uh, okay, so now there are two backups available. If you want to restore the virtual machine, so you can simply click here, or you can select from here which backup you want to restore or which file you want to recover. So if I click file recovery, it will pop up another window providing some executables. While you run it, you can able to mount the disk into the your servers, and you can take the files from the Azure cloud directly without restoring the data. Okay, so if you want to restore the virtual machine from the backup, you can simply click here, or you want to restore the virtual machine, and it will ask some details to restore, like where you want to restore the machine, or you want to create a new virtual machine, something like that. So you can choose between these things. If you want to create this, you have to select the option. You have to create a virtual machine, VNet. You have to create a subnet. If you already have, then no, fine, everything is fine. If you want to replace the previous virtual machine, just select the option and location of the storage account. Simple. Because this is a snapshot, it will create a disk for virtual machine, and then it will be replacing the existing virtual machine. Okay, so this is how we are going to we will be doing a backup. And the another option is to take a backup is like, while we have enabled the backup, I have told you that we have to create a recovery services vault, right? So you can type in recovery services vault, click over that. So this is the vault which I have created new, right? And click backup. So in if it is if you want to take a backup of the virtual machine, I mean Azure machine, or if you want to take a backup of Azure stack, or if you want to take a backup of Azure on-premises, you can choose them between that. If I choose Azure on-premises, I mean on-premises thing, which are the things you have to take a backup? SQL files and folders. If it is a Hyper-V machine, you can do a backup of a I mean virtual machine which you have created under Windows Hyper-V. And if it is a bare metal server, you can choose the way. But I'm going to choose Azure files and folders and prepare infrastructure. Okay, so it will create a link and it will ask us to download this agent, and this needs to be installed in the machine which we are going to use as a server to take a backup. Okay, once this is done, you have to, I mean while installing, so you might be prompted for some file, wall credentials. So you have to download this and you have to upload the credentials into the file. So okay, so once that is done, it will be installed and a window will be generated. Um, okay, so a window will be generated. There you can add, or it will be asked us to create a backup using some option or to set up backup as we do in Windows servers, right? So once that is done, it will be automatically send the backup from your local environment to your on-premises network. So this is how it is going to do. So you have to install this agent. While installing, you have to upload this wall credential file. Okay, so then only the agent will be up and it will be connected to the storage account, and your backup will be transferred to the Azure cloud. Fine. So I have choose the recovery services vault for the previous one which I have demonstrated, right? Where is it? Yeah, this one. These are all the backup items currently which I have. So if I click the virtual machine, I need to verify, I can verify that the backup is completed and the latest backup was success. So this is a central monitoring thing for all the virtual machine created under a single recovery services vault. Uh, if you are using multiple recovery services vault for each deployment you have, that is also fine, uh, because checking an individual machine is taking more time than checking from a centralized system, right? So you can check the backup is completed or not from here itself, and if you have any error it will be shown here and you have to verify and fix that error. Okay, so this is how the Azure backup works. So any queries or any queries on this now? So this is how we are going to use the Azure backup in Azure cloud. So to take a backup, so if you have any queries, just let me know. I'll try to answer it if I know the things, else I'll try to find out the way how. Fine then. Let's move on to Azure Site Recovery. So high availability. Azure Site Recoveries comes under high availability because uh, Azure offers three different availabilities, high availability issues. What is high availability, which I have already explained to you uh, for the people who don't know, and let me tell that again. High availability is to keep our servers always on. For example, if we take a SQL server, Microsoft SQL server, there will be uh, different types of replication over there for SQL, to transfer the backup from one particular instance to multiple instances. Why we are doing that? For data recovery, I mean disaster recovery, we are just taking the backup, or we are just taking the backup and restore it to another machine. So the maximum downtime will be more compared to high availability. High availability is like, we will be running two instances at the same time. Whenever the primary goes offline or primary got affected, the secondary one come up and it will be act as a primary node, and all the request coming through the coming inside the primary will be transferred to the secondary node. So we can ensure that maximum uptime for our customers or clients that they are using our services. So that is high availability. What are the options that Azure provides for high availability? One is high availability set. I think most of the people know that, right? Uh, what is availability set? While you're creating a virtual machine, it will ask for availability set, availability zone. So availability set is nothing but you will create a 2 or 3 copies of your virtual machine inside a same data center. Okay, so which is usually inside Azure, which is usually what they are calling as a fault domain or update domain. Okay, so it will create 2 3 copies as per your need among the same data center with 3 different domains. Okay, so domain I mean is like rack. Okay, simple term is rack. So in 3 different racks, because whenever a failure occurs or a single point of failure occurs, like a network issue or power failure in a single rack, your virtual machine is protected, and all the information, including IP address and data, will be keep will be taken copy into another 2 racks. And if any issue happens to the primary rack, it will be boot up our another instances immediately with a minimal time, and our virtual machine will be up and running within few minutes. So between this, they are doing internal monitoring and internal changes, or to up the second virtual machine. So if the second rack is also got affected, the third virtual machine will be up in within few minutes. So availability set is like taking a copy of 2 or 3 virtual machine inside the same data center. Okay, so what is the issue we'll be facing with the availability set? Simple. Availability set uses a same single data center. So if we have any issue with the entire data center, all our 3 virtual machines will be unavailable. Simple. Okay. So then for this, to overcome this solution, to overcome this, Azure provides availability zone. Okay. So availability zone, what is availability zone? Same like single data center with 3 different racks, Azure here provides feasibility to copy our virtual machines among different data centers in a single region, I mean single zone. So usually a particular region has multiple zones like A, B, C. Usually Azure has multiple zones, but in a particular zone, it has different data centers like 2 or 3. I don't know exactly, but they have multiple data centers. So if any entire data center fails, so our virtual machine will be running from different data center. So this solution is availability zone. What happened if the entire zone got power failure? Sometimes it happens, right? So entire region, I mean entire zone, like city, will be gone out of power or gone out of some issues. Recently, IBM, around 2 months back, IBM had an issue with the network. Entire IBM network was down. So what happened if something like that happens? Again, Azure provides a feasibility as Azure site recovery. Okay, so what they are doing here. So depends on our need. We are going to choose the regions between the virtual machine is going to copy. Uh, to understand clear, let me tell you. So in India, we have two regions. For example, Central Asia and South Asia, Southern Asia. I mean Southern India, Central India. Okay, so if I deploy a virtual machine in Central India, I can copy that virtual machine in this to the South India. So here there are two different regions. So if we have any issue with the Central uh, India region, I can run the virtual machine from South India region. Okay, so that is the main advantage on ASR. Compared to availability set and availability zone, ASR is they are charging for that, but availability set and availability zone is free of cost. Okay, and and one more thing is that while creating virtual machine, you have to select availability set and availability zone. After created a virtual machine, you can't able to select or choose the availability set and availability zone. The only option is to secure our virtual machine from disaster, and for the high availability is ASR. That is for sure. You can't use availability set or availability zone after you have created the virtual machine. You have to plan for that. You have to implement the same before that. Okay, fine. So how they are going to do the ASR, because we are going to use the ASR, how to configure ASR and how to do a failover for the ASR. How they are doing? Uh, okay. So simply, what they are doing is that for primary region we will have a virtual machine, right? But after configuring, while configuring the ASR for the virtual machine, the disk is only is the thing is going to copy from source region to destination region. And I forgot to tell you that the one disadvantage with ASR is that we can't use the same IP address, whereas for availability zone and availability set we can use the same IP address of the virtual machine if one is failure. But for availability ASR, we can't use the same IP address. You have to choose a different IP address. If you want to use the same IP address, then you have to put a load balancer or traffic manager before on top of your virtual machine, both the virtual machines. Okay, and for ILB and traffic manager, I'll take another session. Let's focus on ASR now. So how they are going to transfer ASR from source machine to the destination machine. For source machine, we will have an entire setup like we have virtual machine, VNAT, public IP address or private IP address, NSG, and the rules. They weren't copied to secondary region. The only thing is going to copy is the disk. Okay, so with the disk, if we have a disk in Azure, we can create a virtual machine. Anyways, if you have a disk and if you have a marketplace provider, image provider, then you are free to create a virtual machine with the disk. uh, and then so after the disk is completely synced with destination region, you can do a test failover to whether the destination region is works perfectly or not. And you can do a uh, failover after if you encountered any issue with the primary region that you are currently running. And and you can do a reverse sync. So usually that is that should be there, because once the primary server goes off, anyhow we are going to start the secondary server. Okay, so again the secondary server will have the latest data, right? So that needs to be transferred to the primary region. So that is called reprotect. I'll tell you the things. I'll clearly tell you how we are going to do the reprotect and all, um, which I have already done that. And yeah. So and lock. So while your virtual machine is in replication, you can't delete the disk. It will be in the delete lock. Okay, so you can't delete the disk from the destination region. So lock will be there. And I would suggest all the people should create a lock for your resource group for your production environment from accidental delete. So yeah, so that saves you. If you create a lock for all the resource group for production environment specifically, you can uh, come across your accidental delete for just a pro tip. Okay, so let me go to the portal now. Okay, so let me go to the portal. And so I have told you I have created a virtual machine, right? So because uh, it will take so many time to sync between source to destination, that is why I have done that earlier. So I'm going to create a virtual machine and I'll tell you how to create a ASR. Okay, so this is actually the marketplace image. And marketplace, you can choose variety of data or variety of providers to select your uh, OS or select your needs, like SQL database functions and so on, so many things. So I'm going to choose Windows for now. Actually, I have stopped my virtual machines from running because it saves me cost. Anyhow, we can switch the servers. That's not a problem. So I'm gonna use my, okay, I'll use a new resource group. Okay, gonna use a new resource group, virtual machine name demo one. And I would preferably use this East US region because most of the new features will be rolled out in East US, and comparatively the price will be minimum. Okay, comparatively I feel it is minimum. So, and for availability set and availability zone, you have to choose here. So availability zone, you can set the number of zones you can cover. So maximum is three. Since it is a free of cost, you can choose three. And for availability set, you have to choose the which region you wanna create. Okay. So I'm not gonna use it now. So I don't wanna. So I'm using no infrastructure redundancy required. And then what is Azure Spot instance? Azure provides some, this new feature is allows us to create some test environment with the Azure Spot with minimum price. So this is the minimum price per hour. So I'm going to use Azure Spot instance for now because I'll be deleting. Comparatively, if you set no, this will be your month cost. Okay, 3,500 INR. So if I choose our sure spot instance, it will be 50% reduced. Let me show you. So the same machine, 0.00129 per hour dollar. So if you calculate that, it will be around 1,500 INR per month. So I'm gonna choose it for now. And uh, user, okay, user. Okay, so I'll choose 3388. And for Azure Spot, I forgot to tell you that for Azure Spot, do not use it for the production environment or your development testing. If you want to use a if you are going to use a virtual machine for 1 or 2 hours or a day, you can use Azure Spot. Else you don't. you don't need to use Azure Spot because they will be deleted if the demand is high. So, and I don't have any license yet. And next, I don't know why my network is too slow now. Maybe due to live standard. I'm gonna choose OS disk type as standard, and I'll keep it as default. I'm not gonna use. Sometimes in earlier versions of Portal, they will automatically add the data disk around 1 TB. So now they have removed that. That is a good thing because this cost us for each and every month. So they have removed that. That is a good thing because some people doesn't know the disk is attached to the virtual machine, and this is the VNet which will be created, and this is the subnet. I'm gonna keep it as a default. And load balancing, I'll tell you that later. So just make a note of it. Load balancing, I'll tell you later. Next. Um, okay, I'm gonna keep that boot diagnostic to disable because it will create a storage account cost test. So I'm not gonna use it because it is going to store the logs, right? And I don't want to shut down my machine. I don't want to backup to be enabled, but you can while you can choose the backup should set on while you have created the virtual machine. And I don't want this to be patched automatically. And yeah, so for each and every service you are creating, verify that you are using a correct thing because everything is cost sensitive. And this extension, what is the use? Some people uses some extension to be installed in every machine like Qualys uh, uh, and I forgot the name. Rapid for something like that for vulnerability and uh, assessment management. So you can install it by default while installing the virtual machine. If you want to install any extension, you can choose between them if it is available. See, so there are a lot of extensions available. I don't want to add the extension because it's just a ASR demonstration. So I'm gonna go to tax, and this is the most important thing for those who calculating the monthly cost in Azure. Tax really play a big role here. Okay, so you guys definitely need to use tags for each and every resources that you are using. So I'm gonna create the tags and review and create. It will review, and then we have to create it. If you want to use the same configuration for multiple machines, you can download this template. You can download this template here, and you can use the template to run from deploy through template option, and you don't need to worry about all these things because you already have a machine with the same configuration, right? So you can immediately start deploy using this template. But for Windows machine, there is nothing going to affect. But for any marketplace image other than Microsoft, so there will be slightly you have to adjust your templates, and I'll tell you afterwards if I can able to take a session on that how to restore a virtual machine from snapshot and how to transfer the disk from different regions. So I'll tell you if I have time and my my mission. See, you can download the template here, and so let's check. Once it is downloaded, I'll tell you how to create a site recovery. So okay, yeah, it is completed. I'm going to the resource which I have created, which is demo one, that is the virtual machine, and I'm gonna choose my machine getting high percentage of CPU consumption. That is why it is taking time. Sorry for that, guys. So once you have selected the virtual machine for the ASR, scroll left, scroll down and click disaster recovery. Earlier they used to call it as a site recovery. Now they have changed that. So let's load, let it load, and it is taking so much time. Okay, so the virtual machine needs to be started because as I told that every backup and the site recovery uses the agent, so that agent needs to be communicated by this Azure cloud portal. Okay, then only we can able to start the uh, we can able to start the configurations. So let's wait for some time to boot up this machine. I forgot to tell you that. And so see, this is the agent status. So if it is ready, you are free to start your configuration. If it is not, you have to wait for it to boot up. Sometimes the agent will have some issues, it will be crashed. That you have to download the latest agent from the portal. Latest agent from the Microsoft support, and you can install it. So let's see. It is not ready yet. Let's click disaster recovery again. Yeah, now it is loaded. Fine. So see, I have created the virtual machine in East US, right? So these are all the regions which I can transfer my virtual machine. Okay, so you can select the region which you want to transfer. Now I'm gonna choose the East US, but I'm suggesting not to use this nearby region anyways, because just my thought. You can choose whenever you're free. Whenever you wanted to use. So I'm choosing East US 2, which is near to that East US region. Then advanced settings. Here you have to choose, or you have to create the destination group, which is going to create on East US 2 region. Okay, so it will be automatically chosen by default. So you can use that or you can create new one there and you can select between here. Okay, and VNet. Since we are going to transfer the data from this region to that region, we have to use VNet, right? We have to use the network. So for that, for network, we have to use the VNet. So that is why it is creating a VNet. And here you can also use availability set, availability zone for the destination region and storage accounts. Okay, and the disk type you wanted to choose. You can choose the storage account if you have, and vault subscription. I told you, right? For backup and site recovery, we have to use recovery services vault. So which vault you are going to use? I have two recovery services vault, so you can choose either way. But the thing is that you can't keep the recovery services vault. Uh, for example, I'm using East US region to be copied to East US 2 region, right? So I can't keep my recovery services vault and East US region, that is source side, because if the source got affected, entire machine, I mean entire system will be get affected, right? So if I deploy recovery services vault in source, that is East US region, that will be also affected, so we can't able to start the destination machine. So create a recovery services vault in a common area and you can transfer the data. And even by default select it won't let us to select the source recovery services vault. So you have to choose a different recovery services vault, and the replication policy I'm going to choose 24 hours, uh, and that is the only option right now. And extension, uh, I'm not going to touch this because this is automation account. It is going to do, I'm going to use the old account. Okay, okay, so I'm going to use a new account to be created. And okay, so review on start replication. So this is the things you have to verify. Okay, so this is the source virtual machine details, demo 1 vnet single instance, and this is also your uh, target region, that is a resource group vnet and things. Source disk, replica disk type, replica disk type. You can choose between SSD, premium SSD, standard HDD, and start replication. Once you have started replication, it will check for all the things that everything is correctly done or not, or else it will throw some error. Let me show you. So it is submitting the deployment. So if I click here, sorry this. Yeah, sorry, this is actually the resource group, but I was looking for, yeah, it is now creating this thing. So once it is, yeah, enabling the replication one, so click over that. So you can find the details here. So it will start each and every process. If you have error, it will throw some exclamatory mark with the red in the background. You can click that uh, error and you can find out the details, what is the exact error you are happening. So if you can able to create a support ticket, you can just clear them with them and fix that. So this is how the replication is going to work. And what will be the next menu? I mean, what is the 1 minute. So what is the menu with which is going to be shown after we have created the replication and it is successfully started? So once the replication is completed, uh, the replication is configured, it will start syncing the disk from source to destination. So it will say it will take so many time. It depends on the disk you are choosing, because I have chosen a very minimal disk right now, but it will take some time. Depends on the disk we are choosing, and uh, I'll tell you. So it will show the percentage as well, how many percentage of disk has been synced, and after that it will create different restore points to restore at any particular point. Because if you have a single restore point, we can't recover the server if it is attacked by any malware or viruses. So if you have multiple recovery points, we can able to restore our source machine, uh, and then do a commit. I'll tell you how to select a restore point and how to create a uh, how to enable the server at the destination. So okay, so I'm gonna choose disaster recovery from the menu. So that only available after, yeah. So see, my configuration were success right now, and it is trying to enable the server. My configuration is to success. It is started to sync. Now it is going to connect with my source machine. I mean, this is the source machine, right? So it is going to start the sync between this location to east to west 2. So we can see the percentage over here, like synchronization percentage, and I'll show you what will be the menu will be showing after the 100 percentage of sync completed. Uh, to show you guys, I have already done the ASR with my another machine for this demonstration. So this one, I think this one. Sorry guys, it's taking time due to my yet just consuming a high CPU percentage with my machine. So this is how it looks once you have completed the uh, replication and you have 100% sync. Now the status will be showing as protected. It shows warning because I didn't do any test uh, start, because test failover will create a virtual machine at the secondary, I mean, yeah, at the destination target region, and it will try to start the virtual machine. If it is fine, then okay. If it is not fine, you will have to identify the issue and fix that. If we can't able to fix that, we can raise a support ticket and they will help you guys. Microsoft support provides a good thing, because these are all the things which I have learned from the Microsoft support. They have guided me for each and every steps which we have created, and so uh, so that is why it shows warning, and next, the source machine is off. I told you, right? I have turned off all the virtual machine which I have created to reduce my cost uh, usage in my account, right? So these are all the recovery points which this current virtual machine holds. See, one, two, three, four, five, six, uh, seven recovery points. So these seven recovery points available since the virtual machine was running. After I have shut down the virtual machine, it doesn't sync to this agent. I mean, it doesn't sync to this particular target region. So that is why it doesn't show. So if I want to do a failover, when I click here, it will start my virtual machine over there. Okay, so I can select the recovery points. Okay, so if you are doing a first time, it will create a virtual machine at the secondary side and start booting up. If you have done the failover already, it will start the existing machine. Okay, so you can't start the virtual machine on the source, I mean on the target side, if the source side is manually done the failover. So why I have chose the before menu is like I didn't do a test failover, so that is okay. I'm free to proceed with failover right now. So these are all the options that they have provided. One is latest processed low RTO means when I click on that particular option, the portal is trying to sync the latest data from the source machine to the destination machine. So when I click this, it will choose the last recovery point which the Azure cloud took. And if I choose custom, I can choose the recovery points from here. Okay. So I'm gonna choose lowest RPO because uh, why? Because usually this will take every 5 minutes, right? Usually this 1 minute. Usually this recovery points will be taken every 5 minutes. Okay, you can see the difference every 5 minutes. So 5 minutes data will be not more for some cases, but some people it will definitely need it. But while you done the lowest RPO, it will take some time to sync from source machine to the destination machine. So for from my personal experience, it took around 30 minutes to sync and start the virtual machine. So 30 minutes is a huge downtime for me. So that is why I have chose the lowest RPO, which is actually uh, lowest RPO, which is actually restored from the recovery points which I already took. So it will take only 10 to 15 minutes to start the virtual machine because it is not going to sync from the source machine. So shut down the machine before beginning failover. Yes. So I'm gonna start failover. Okay. So once failover is completed, I can even change the recovery points at any level. That is the good option that Azure Site Recovery provides. I have chose to one recovery point now, right? So after started the failover, I can choose between different recovery points and then fix one particular recovery point due to convenience they have provided. Customer convenience, so that is the good option, one of the good option I have experienced with Azure Site Recovery. So so it will take around 10 to 15 minutes to boot up the server in my destination region. So let's wait for that to process. What is going to do that? Uh, I'll show you. When I click lowest RPO, it will skip the latest changes. See? So starting failover is like it just restores uh, the recovery points which I have selected, and then it will start the machine. So currently it just restoring the point, recovery point. In the meantime, I'll show you what happens after what happens if everything is passed. It will try to sync the data. This is the one which we have. Uh, this is the machine which we have tried to create a ASR in this live session. So let me show you the details. See, it is started to sync. Currently it is 0%. Depends on your capacity, disk capacity. It will take time. Okay, and then it will create multiple RPOs for each and every 5 minutes, and you can choose between the RPOs. So once it is done, so this is the virtual machine which I have current used to fail over. So this is the virtual machine started now with this failover. See, it is successful now. It is currently running. Now we can select the recovery points. Sometimes what happens if you try to log, if you have you can see the old data after login into the server, but you don't want that. You have to keep the latest data as possible. Means you can just go to disaster recovery in the target machine. Okay, note, in the target machine. Okay, and then you can change the recovery points here. It will show the available recovery points. You can use it for you can choose any recovery points, and your virtual machine again use that recovery point and boot up in the target region itself. Okay, uh, sorry guys, it is taking time. Yeah, so you can choose between the recovery points. What I have choose 751. Okay, so that is the last one. So you can choose between the recovery points and click OK. It will uh, it will enable that particular recovery points, uh, and after you have chosen your need, you have to click commit. Till then you can use your till then you can use your uh, server, but once you have to click commit, then only that particular recovery point will be applied in virtual machine. Once you have clicked the commit, you can change this recovery point. Okay, so I'm going to click commit here. Yeah, I'm choosing that recovery point and click OK. Once it is committed, this change recovery point will be gray out. Okay, yeah, so it is done. So I'm going to restore it, refresh it. Yeah, now uh, it is gray out. So now what you have to do, that you have to reverse sync your target machine data to the source machine. So that is mandatory, because you have to do a failover again if it secondary machine goes off, right? So for that you have to click reprotect. So it will show some options like source and target, as we seen while creating ASR, right? It will show same like that, and you have to choose between the servers. See, target machine, target virtual network, cache, replica, disk, and click OK. Once it is done, it will start the same process as we have done, uh, as we have done for ASR creation. So it will again start the same process. It will communicate with the source machine and started syncing the latest data from this server to that server. So That's all. So this is how we are going to use ASR, and this is how we are going to use a high availability in Azure. So this is for from Azure Virtual Machine to Azure Virtual Machine. So some people may require to do a failover from their local on-premises network to Azure Virtual Machine, right? So Azure provides that option as well. They can replicate their local machine to the cloud. I'll show you that now. So for that, what you are going to use is that you have to choose Recovery Services Vault. Right. Um, So once you have choose the recovery services vault, you can create a new recovery services vault, or you can choose the existing one. Here there will be no issues uh, because your source VM will be your on-premises VM. Click site recovery, or you can choose from here. Okay. So once you have done that, so currently my two machines are in failover. Okay, the one which I have created newly, and another one which I have created earlier for this thing. So click enable site recovery, and here you need to choose the option. This is for Azure virtual machine. This is for any virtual machine, not only the on-premises. You can do a failover from any cloud providers. So click prepare infrastructure. So what this will do? So you have to download this and run a planner. So uh, because how much data you wanna transfer to that, how much days it will take, what is your internet speed, everything will be calculated as per Azure Azure. And once you have done that, you have to choose this, because local on-premises network to the cloud network will take so many time. And make sure this is not actually the backup, this is a site recovery, so it implies the charges. And is your machine is virtualized. Some people uses VMware, some people uses Hyper-V, some people use a bare metal server. So you can choose between them, and I'm going to choose it for a non-virtual machine. And and now add a configuration server. Okay. So here you have to download the same thing as we have done for Azure Backup. So you have to download and run all the things. You have to download the registration, wall key registration, and apply into the same Azure site recovery setup. And then it will communicate your on-premises server to the Azure cloud. And you can set the target settings and replica policy. And finally, you can start your virtual machine. I mean, to be sorry. Finally, you can start your on-premises network to Azure network. So this will also help you to migrate your on-premises data to the cloud. So this is the best option I have ever seen with Azure Site Recovery. So I'm not going to use it now because it will take so many time to calculate and do the things. So I'm not going to use it now. So uh, that's all for Azure Site Recovery, which I was planned to share you guys. And uh, so I'll show you the overview. I'll show you the overview of the Azure. Sorry. So here, they are using a single virtual machine over here, which has a web server, which has app, which has databases connected to the single virtual machine. And those all the three web app and sorry web server, app application and databases were installed in a single disk, which came to the conclusion that it is a single virtual machine. And the only disk is going to copy to the target region, which is region 2. And later, once you have done a failover, this target region will be boot up with the new virtual machine with the same configuration which we have in the disk, which is replicated. So how we are going to do change the traffic between these two? by using a traffic manager or load balancer. I usually prefer load balancer and both traffic manager because they were doing good job at this, and you can do a switch between, because why we are using a traffic manager or load balancer is because, you know, we can't keep the same IP address for the two virtual machines because the region is different. We can't transfer the IP address from one region to other region. So that is why we have to use if you want to use your clients to access a single point of server, then you have to use a traffic manager on top of your virtual machines and do a failover. Okay, so that's all for now. Thank you guys. I hope you have learned about Azure backup configuration and Azure site recovery. And I just need your valuable comments on feedback on this because this is my very first class on Azure. I have done some internal team training development, but I haven't done before you guys. So that is why I'm requesting your feedback and comments on this. So hope you enjoyed the session, and thank you.